Greetings, and thank you for stopping by the Circle of Grace One page here on my YouTube channel. I'm Brother Francis E. Revels Bey. I'm the founder of the Circle of Grace One, established back in 1974. Now, the reason I came on tonight, and it is Friday, July 29th, 2022, is because I want to talk about, as you see here, my brand new book called The Key to Life is Numerology: Your Name and Date of Birth Through the Study of Numbers. Now, the reason is I'm going to share just a basic introductory for you about this, and I want you to be able to get some information. As much as I can give you is just an introductory level of some of the information in this book. Now, I plan on coming back at least twice a month, if not every week, to give you more insight into my brand new book, The Key to Life is Numerology. You can purchase this book on Amazon.com. And I have many of my other books. This is book number 6. You can get my other books there, which are called Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace, The Wisdom of Akhenaten as I Am, which is also a channeled book. Its companion channeled book is called The Gift, subtitled The Wisdom of Nefertiti as I Am, which is another channeled book. You can also look at Decree and It Shall Be, Speak as I Am. And I have a course based on that book, which has 5 distinctive classes and 4 bonus classes where you could find out more information about the 5-pointed creative pathwork system. It's my trademark signature system, and it teaches you the inner world of that book on how to use affirmations, affirmative prayers, meditations, and how to go about using decrees and how to write your own prayers. Now, you can find that on my website, circleofgrace1.us, www.circleofgrace1, the number 1.us. And you'll find some other things there, like you can take a look at the Seeker's Journey. And on there, you'll find about my free enrichment training programs. They're like classes given to you once a month. You could also find out about my spiritual counseling sessions. I have 30-minute sessions, 45-minute sessions, and 1-hour sessions. If you want more information, you can just leave your questions, leave your email address and your name on my contact page. Or you can ask me questions. You can leave comments. But let's get back to my book here. You can also click on books on Amazon. You can get all that information about all of these books. This book is my 6th book, and I've been working on this book actually as far back as when I first started doing numerology in 1974. That's 48 years of time and energy. But I started working on the writing of the book in 2020. Now, it has been quite a journey to put this book together for someone like you who has an interest in numerology. And this book is great as a study manual because it gives you metaphysical, esoterical, spiritual information about the numbers. I have a way of introducing numbers to you so that you can easily comprehend them. In this book, some of the things that you will discover is what is numerology. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2 goes into the modern and Chaldean systems, alphabetical systems, and how they are similar and where they are different. I will also give you in chapter 3 information on the numbers 0 through 9. Chapter 4 allows you to get information on the birthday numbers, the calendar birthday numbers from 1 to 31, which includes the 11 and 22, which have been looked at as master numbers by many of us who study in the field of numerology. This is an excellent book for beginners seeking more information or to get more grounded with your energy, with your concern, with your passion about numerology. One of the things you want to understand is that numerology is not a pseudoscience. No, not at all. You want to understand that numerology is an ancient African system of study of numbers that has been culled from the culture of Africa itself, culled from the Moors in Africa and all the other people, all the other tribes. But we've taken this information and we pulled the Pythagorean method, because Pythagoras was a Greek philosopher. Now, some people call him the father of numbers. Well, that's in Greece. He also studied in Egypt. The capital area that everybody went to in Egypt was called Alexandria. And that's where all philosophers from around the world went there and sat at the foot of the masters in Egypt, in Kemet, to get this understanding about the sacredness of numbers as frequencies and vibrations. Do you know that we use numbers every day in our life? From the measurement of clothing to buildings, to homes, the places we live at, places that we eat, places that we vacation at, we exercise at. Doctors use numbers, astrologers use numbers to compute and calculate angles between planets within one's natal chart or progression chart. Do you know that numerology is used by physicists, biologists, chemists? Do you know that numbers frequent and populate our lives? Yes, it's not a pseudo science at all. In fact, when I began studying numbers back in 1974, and see numbers right there to describe the year, AD, after deity, one of the things that I was doing was meditating on what the numbers could mean. One of the things also, I was looking into the tarot in 1979, and I noticed numbers were there. Playing cards, numbers. Have you ever shot the game of pool? What do you have? 15 balls on the table. The black ball with a white circle with a black 8, that's the 8 ball. The yellow ball with a white circle with a black 9, that's the 9 ball. And what do they play? 8 ball or 9 ball, right? Or a full game of billiards or pool. And they use angles to hit the white ball against another ball and bank it. Numbers are being used. Numbers influence our lives. Numerology, in essence, is the study of numbers and their occult influence, meaning hidden from the eyes, their hidden impact in our lives. Back in the 1980s, in fact, in 1980, after going into numerology at 1974, 6 years of my study, I saw that, hey, there were some things connected to astrology. And many people out there are known as astronumerologists, like my good longtime friend of 44 years, Lloyd Strayhorn. He's internationally known, and he lives right there in Harlem, New York City, New York. And I first met Lloyd on December 7th, 1978. It was a Saturday at 11 a.m. in the morning at 1 West 125th Street at the corner of Lenox Avenue at a place that was there called the Tree of Life Bookstore. But everybody there in Harlem called it the University at the corner of Lenox Avenue and West 125th Street. Why? Because the guy that owned the store had hundreds and hundreds of books in there. Books on vegetarianism, veganism, fruitarianism. The great late comedian who was referred to as Baba Gregory. Dick Gregory used to go there and lecture. And Dick Gregory used to talk about his bohemian diet and his fruitarian diet. Gary Null used to go there and teach. Many people would come in there through there and teach what they knew. There was a guy there, he has passed on in August of 1988. He was Capricorn brother. His name was John E. Moore. We all used to call him Dr. Moore. He was known as a hobo herbologist, and he dealt with numbers as well. Well, it was an exciting place to be, and that's where I met Lloyd. And I learned a few more other little steps. And then Lloyd introduced me to the store owner, Kanya Kakumba, who I think just passed away down in Atlanta, Georgia. And I became the person who taught the beginner's level of numerology, and Lloyd went on to teach the intermediate and advanced classes. I can tell you, this is why I call my book, The Key to Life is Numerology. Your name and date of birth through the study of numbers. Numbers are very important in our lives. As I say, we use numbers to measure things. You can measure carpets, rooms, space, height, width of anything. You got to use numbers. You go buy paint. Paint has serial numbers. There's different types of reds and cranberry reds and blues and sky blues and turquoise and teal blues. Each one of those logged with a number. Hey, this book has an international ISBN number, 13-digit number. And what do we see? It's a 13-digit number, and it has many things connected to that 13-digit number. 13 is a powerhouse number. Do you know, and I talk about it in my book, I think it's on page 15 or 16, the fear of the 13. And the word is called triskaidekaphobia. It took me a little while to get that. It's a tongue twister for me. Triskaidekaphobia. That means the fear of the 13. But in my book, I talk about the original idea of how this fear of the 13 came about. There's a date in there, October 13th, 1307. That's where the Catholic military order had their own banking system. They were called the Knights Templars. And there was an English king that owed a huge debt because he had a huge loan. And what he decided to do was he was going to arrest the Knights Templars. And he happened to choose a Friday, which happened to be October the 13th, 1307. But guess what? Here in the United States, there was a mini crash. There was something called Black Friday. Now, I'm not talking about Black Friday like in sales that they use, I think, after Thanksgiving. But in this book, and I'm going to refer to it right now, Black Friday is called Friday, the Mini Crash. This is on page 16 of my book. And this particular date happened on Friday, another Friday, same date, month and date, October 13, but this time in 1989. This crash occurred when there was a $6.75 billion deal involving the parent company, parent corporation for United Airlines called UAL. However, the deal, which was leveraged at a higher level for something else, kind of fell through because they were involved with another corporation called AFA, which is the Association of Flight Attendants. And they kind of pulled out of the deal because they had a deal relating to stock ownership for their employees. 6.7, that's a 13. 6.75, that's an 18. 1 plus 8 is 9, and 9 is usually representative of beginnings and endings, something being birthed. Well, that deal fell through as the mini crash on Friday, October 13th, 1989. There are many things attributed to the number 13, but when I began to, and this was in the first chapter about what is numerology. Well, numerology, some people call it, skeptics call it a pseudoscience. Whenever I study things that are metaphysical, spiritual, esoteric, first thing I do is I take on the role as a skeptic. I try to find reasons why it doesn't make sense, try to find reasons why it doesn't work. But what I found out over these 48 years, and when I began with my Circle of Grace One that you see right here, that's my logo, the meditation guide with the 11 rays, Circle of Grace One, and I might as well say I'm the founder of. I began this in 1974. That's when I established it. The one represents the first grace in my life, which is my first metaphysical spiritual teacher, my late mother, who passed away on May 13th of 1981. But back in those days, when I was in college, she was my first spiritual metaphysical teacher. And so my work is devoted to the things that she taught me. And she said, young man, you got to study. Young man, you got to read. And one day you got to write. You got to share and you got to teach. So in this book, I talk about the modern alphabetical numerology system using numbers 1 through 9, connecting the 26 letters of our English American alphabet from A to Z, where 10 is a base number. And that's using all of the letters from A to Z. There's 3 lines. A to I has all the values running across from 1 to 9. The second row starts with the letter J and runs all the way across left to right, and it ends with the letter R under the value of 9. So we have I and R representing 9. I is the 9th letter of our calendar, our numerology system. R is the 18th letter of our numerology system. And then you have the letters also under the column 1, A, J, N, S, S being the 19th letter, and Z being the 26th letter. But then you have the Chaldean numerology system, where 9 is considered the base number or a sacred number. Now we have the values 1 through 5. And if you put the letters underneath, A through E, each one will connect with the number 5. But if you go right down the column, when you get to the value of number 6, you have the letters U, O, and W, I believe. So I'm going to double check. I don't have to have a computer brain. So we look it up right away. U, V, and W. So U, V, and W. So let me show you. Let's see, we can get this up here. These are how the alphabetical systems look. On the top level, you have the modern method of numerology. On the bottom, you have the Chaldean system of numerology. You can see the letters fall differently. Now, the people of Chaldea were considered master mathematicians in their time. All over the world, you're going to find civilizations of people who use numbers to create cycles, calendars, cosmically and individually, telling time in the universe with a universal calendar. Well, this book doesn't go and touch all of that, but it does teach you how to look at the values of the letters and what they could mean under each system. Now, I kind of make the book a little on the interactive side. And what I mean by that, I give you a list of, in chapter 2, I give you 2 sets. I give you chart A, which has several first names, some cities, some states, and a few countries. And then I repeat them, which is about 11, I believe, or 13 or so, and I put them in section B in chapter number 2. Now, the purpose for that is you get a chance in A to place down the numerical values of the letters using the modern Pythagorean method. And in section B, which is the same words repeated, you get a chance to connect the Chaldean numbers to the letters. So I let you have a little interaction in my book. Here's something else. I also borrowed a few of those names and cities and states, and I may have written them slightly different, but what I do is I show you how the modern Pythagorean fits in another section A with these words. And as you see, section A is Pythagorean. See that? I give you the values there. And then over here, section B, the Chaldean, the same names, but I give you the Chaldean values. This is so that you can exercise. You can see how they are being applied. Now, in both, I leave you the compound numbers so you can see what they are, because compound numbers have significant meanings as well. Now, I'm just going to touch upon something here. Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5. Chapter 3, I give you the meaning of the root numbers 0 to 9. In Chapter 2, I give you the meaning of the birthday calendar numbers. That's the day that you're born on numerically, from 1 to 31. And then in Chapter 5, I have a chapter where the birthday numbers are connected to what I call the 12 rose petals. And that's a systematic way of connecting you in the beginning. If you don't pick it up in Chapter 4 about the birthday numbers, how you see some correspondence between astrological sun signs, planets, and the numbers. But when you go to Chapter 4 and you see the 12 rose petals of the birthday numbers, I give you some examples. So I give you an example like, it might be Aries 10 person or a Taurus 27 person and so forth, something to that. I give you just a few numbers, but I spread them out through all 12 astrological sun signs. But what I want to do is give you an example. Chapter 3, meaning of the root numbers 0 to 9. Here's something a little bit tidbit about the 0. 0 is symbolic of the universal womb where all life comes from, and in this sense represents where all other numbers come through its being and returns. As I meditate on this number, I experience vast sense of a universal presence, an expression of one source called both Divine Mother and Divine Father. This is about the number 0. It can be remembered as the divine expression of all and seen as the divine potential of every number that is paired with it. Think of the number 10, compound numbers 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. All of those numbers are impacted by the 0. And that's very important to understand that. Numbers, when we use them, they are good for empowering us. It is true, I can tell you, if you study astrology, you study numerology, you study music, it impacts the brain. It opens up the brain levels, the layers, the folds, and you find yourself having greater memory, a detailed memory. Music does something to the mind and the body, and so does the use of numbers in your life. Now, one of the things I want to flip it over to, because in that particular chapter, right, where I'm talking about the numbers, chapter 3 here, you're going into numbers 0 through 9. There's an affirmation for each one. So here is the affirmation of the 0. And I write it in such a way as though the 0 is speaking to you. I am the beginning and the end of all that is everywhere. I, as the 0, am nothing, and yet I am you as well. I am the womb, the true matrix, and an integral part of your well-being. You are birthed through me, the alma mater. I am that I am. And I go on as I explain the different meanings of 1 through 9, and each one also has its own affirmation. So when you get this book, you're going to see some exciting things here. And I'm just going to give you a tidbit of the book, because if you're interested in the book, you'll get more information when you purchase your own copy. Now, for those of you that live out here in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Belen, Los Lunas, and other parts of the state, if you ever come through a place that I am connected to, which is Resident Essentials here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I plan on having books at the next Psychic and Healing Fair, which is Sunday, August the 14th. You can come there, meet me, and if I have enough books left, you could purchase the book directly from me. Now, if you want to find out what this book costs, just go to Amazon. This is a paperback book. It is not an ebook Kindle format, because my ancestors, my late ancestors, my mother Grace and her mother, Grandma Charlotte, and the great Kemet and out of this world spiritual teachers, Akhenaten and Nefertiti, said it is time for people to continue with books that they could touch and not burn their eyes out on a computer reading a book, and not a cell phone or tablet. Books are treasures, and we must keep this alive in our minds and in our hearts. Books that we could hold are treasures. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Thank you for stopping by the Circle of Grace One webpage here as my YouTube channel. I'm Brother Francis E. Revels Bey, the founder of the Circle of Grace One. I've written 6 books. You can go to my website, http://www.circleofgrace with the number 1 at the end .us. You can read everything that I have there. I usually put up a blog on dreams called Dreamscapes, Understanding Your Dreams. I also have information in full about my numerology book. You can click on books on Amazon and read about my other books that I have. You can read about the Circle of Grace One. You can read about my signature course. It's a 5-week course with 4 to 5 additional free classes. And that's usually the first page that comes up. And that is called my 5-point creative pathwork system. It's my signature system. And it's based on my book called Decree and It Shall Be, Speak as I Am. Well, I'm going to leave you with all of that information you've gotten tonight. As I say, I'm going to try my best, do my best to come back every other week, if not every week, and give you insight on my book, The Key to Life is Numerology. Until next time, my grace is your grace. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. Make sure you secure your copy by going to Amazon right now. Thank you so much for your time. And if you have any questions on my website, use my contact page. Give me your email address, your name, and write me a short note. Maybe you want some more information. You could go through the Seeker's Journey page and find out other types of courses and things that I offer, like spiritual counseling. I'm here to help you find and have a better life, a better version of yourself, greater clarity, and to understand what your purpose is in life. And that purpose changes from moment to moment, generationally within ourselves. So you be well. I hope to meet you one day. I hope you can purchase this book and make it a part of your library. And I will be developing a mini course, hopefully in September or October, that you can take, and a full course that you can take. So stay tuned. You can email me at iam.circlegrace1@gmail.com. You can call my business Skype number, which is 505-349-4722, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time up to about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Fridays. Or you could call or text me at 505-220-2583. Be sure to get your copy ASAP. Take care. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend coming up, okay? And I look forward to seeing you real soon.